record button. And we are good to go. So hi, everybody, and Happy New Year again. I think we're all probably happy for 2021 to be here. Welcome to our January series of 10-minute lessons. We have 4 Thursdays for the month of January. For those who don't know me, my name is Alana Dunoff. My quick backstory: I've got about 30 years in facilities management, mostly as a strategic facilities planner and a project manager. I'm also an FM educator. I have been an adjunct professor for about 18 years, currently teaching at Temple University in their Bachelor of Facilities Management program. And I'm also a qualified instructor for 2 fabulous FM credentials, both the Pro FM and the IFMA FMP. So today's topic is why FMs have to be leaders. And I chose this topic for sort of the beginning of the year because I thought that it might be interesting to share some thought leadership around why it is and why it's so important for us to really see the critical leadership role that we play in our organizations, and wanted to give you some things to think about to sort of strengthen your own thoughts around leadership and how critical it is for us to think about leadership and not just managing the building, but something much bigger than that. So in the really big picture, FMs have to be leaders because we are truly integral to the entire organization. I don't know if you've ever seen this graphic before, but it's been around for a really long time in the sort of academia of facilities management, but it shows how facilities management is integral to the people, place, and process of the organization. And truly, that's what organizations are. They're people, their places, and their processes. In FM, we think about ourselves as the place, but really, we're also about the people because we manage and create the spaces for people inside those buildings that we have. And we're also, of course, about process because it's the processes are what helps our organizations be productive. And so we have to be integral. We're sort of into the nooks and crannies of the entire organization. We know everything happening, the pace, the things that are happening inside that organization. So being a leader is critical for us because of everything we know and how valuable we can be to the organization. But one of the things that I think is really interesting in a lot of the FMs I've met over the years is that we don't always think of ourselves as senior leadership material, that we manage the building, we take care of operations, but it's not always seen as sort of a higher level of leadership. And I've often wondered why. And I have a little bit of a theory that I want to share with you. I think that oftentimes as FMs, we like to be under the radar. We like to fly low so that things aren't seen, because a good day in FM means that there's no chaos in the phone calls. You know, the phones aren't ringing off the hook, and preventative maintenance is getting done, and the guys are mowing the lawn as they're supposed to, and the lights are on, and everything is working as it should. And that's great. We like that kind of invisibleness. That means we are really doing well. But the challenge then of being under the radar is that we're invisible to the organization all the time. And when we're invisible to the organization all the time, they forget to invite us at the table sometimes. They forget to include us in those strategic conversations, to be part of the dialogue of the larger organization. And so what I want to suggest today and sort of share with this little lesson is thinking about some of the roles we should be embracing more to really be seen as thought leaders within our organization. So I've got 5 of them. I'm going to try to get through them all in the next 9 minutes. So the first one is the role we know the best, FM as a supporting role. And we play this role really well, right? This is the role where we operate and maintain our buildings. We manage cleaning and security and take care of the buildings on a regular basis. We react to problems. We deal with work orders. We're customer service extraordinaire. We plan projects and implement projects. We're the implementers of change. And we do the simple things like making sure the lights are on and the grass is mowed and that now the hand sanitizers are filled. And the list goes on and on of the things that we do on a daily basis that go under the radar. But the really big challenge that we sometimes struggle with then in the supporting role is because we're under the radar, we forget that people don't always know what we do. And if we don't know what we do, they don't see the value in what we do, and they don't understand how we can help and support the organization from the bigger picture. So it's imperative that we share our stories, that we share our successes, that we tell our company that we're saving them money and that we're streamlining processes. And these are the things we're all doing in order to make them, the organization, more productive. The second role is our role as a strategic partner. And this leadership role is also critical for us to really think about. Like, FM exists to serve the organization, right? That's our job, to make sure the organization is working well. And we do that, and to understand how we do that, FMs have to think about our alignment with the organization. We should be in lockstep with the organization. Their mission is our mission. Their vision and goals, our vision and goals. Their objectives and goals and the way they measure success and their KPIs should be ours in facilities, KPIs and measures of success. And we need to, again, demonstrate that through leadership, that we have those same alignment in process together, and that because we have that alignment in process, that there's value in having us be part of the strategic conversation. We want to know and be sitting at the table when the organization pivots right. We don't want to be told 3 weeks later, oh, by the way, the organization pivoted right, because then we become in reactive mode. So being a part of and showing that we can be strategic and think big picture for the organization allows us to use that leadership role to be more engaged in the organization. The third role is about FM as an advocate for FM. Let's face it, we're the ones who know our buildings the best, and our buildings are such important, strong, expensive assets of our organization. I like to think sometimes that we're like building whisperers, right? We know what's happening inside our buildings. The rest of the organization doesn't. So part of our leadership role is to make sure we let the organization know what's happening inside our buildings and the condition of those buildings and the status of those buildings. Because when those buildings have signs of failure, you know, the boiler, the roof, whatever is sort of happening, the reason why our organization should care about them is not because, oh, it's an expense. They should care about fixing those things, because if they don't, it could lead to greater disruption in the organization, which could lead to greater loss of productivity with an organization getting shut down because the lights aren't working or because it's too cold to be in the building. So being an advocate for the building, it's an asset, just like you, I, and everybody else in the organization are assets. So being an advocate for the building is a critical part to teach people how important this building is to the organization. I mean, today we say, well, maybe it isn't as important, but it will be again, even if we're not all physically in those buildings right now. The fourth role is the one that I sometimes get a cringe on, but this is our role, our political role. You know, and using the word politics today may not be the best, but it's interesting to understand and to think about what politics really means. And it turns out the definition of politics doesn't have the negative connotation that we often take with it, but that politics is really the activities of a group of people making decisions together. It's how things get done. And in facilities, we're all about how things get done. Things get done in the organization. We serve the organization, business unit, this business unit, or that business unit. We serve all of them to help them get things done. And we in facilities, we're a business unit and department that has to get things done too. So if we're helping everybody else, there might be moments in time that we need to ask for help ourselves. When that budget or a case study or a justification comes up and we need a little bit of support from a business unit leader to say, look, hey, you know, we've got a boiler that's really failing and it's been deferred and deferred. I'm really concerned that that thing's going to go down. I really need your support in that budget being approved, and to build those relationships. And it's okay to ask for their support. The rest of the organization asks for our support all the time. So letting them know that we need their help, it's not about, you know, stabbing each other in the back and that kind of politics. Politics is about building relationships to get things done. And that's an important leadership role that we might shy away from, but one that we should consider building those relationships to ensure we get done what is needed for the good of the organization. And then the last role is our role as a leader of people. We lead and manage lots of people. We have internal staff we manage. We have external contractors or facilities outsourced providers who are sort of part of our staff. We have our vendor partners. We have a huge pit crew of people that work for us in support of the entire organization and their goals and their missions. So being a leader and understanding what it means to manage and lead people, to motivate them, to engage them is another really critical thing we need to consider as being seen as leaders in our organization. And some of the body of knowledge talks about the idea of striving to be a transformational leader, sort of the super leader. That's why there's the capes on those pictures there. But this idea of the transformational leader is someone who motivates and coaches and encourages innovation and creativity, not just of their internal staff, the couple people that might work for them, but their broader organization. And how do you do that? And how do you engage them for people to be at their best so that we all support the organization to the best degree possible? So I could continue this conversation for a long time, but I'm very close to my end of, I'm probably hitting 11 minutes at this point. But really the bottom line is that FMs have to be leaders because we are critical sustainers of the organization's mission, ensuring the safety and productivity of its most important assets, the people and the buildings. And I want to take this moment to say, good job and congratulations to all of you who have been working within facilities over this past year and pivoting and changing and really trying to be leaders. And I think we're seeing FM being identified a little bit more as real leaders right now because we're doing so much to ensure the safety and productivity of our people in buildings and space and making sure everybody's back to working in the middle of a pandemic. So we should be taking that moment of being acknowledged for our good work and trying to grow that as we move forward, because it's a pandemic this year. Next year, it's going to be something else that's going to need our leadership as well. So thinking about all of those components, what's so critical for us to be leaders. And that is your 10-minute lesson, maybe 11-ish minute lesson. If you have any thoughts or so on, I would love to, we can certainly stay on and continue to talk. I just wanted to share that next week, Jim is up with a totally different topic. He's going to talk about budget development. And then the rest of our series is on the slide. If you're interested in some credential classes, we have those coming up too. I also, again, wanted to mention I'll be sending out recordings of all of these sessions on the YouTube channel, so you can look at them and share them along the way. Any feedback, comments, I would love to hearing it as well. Being an FM leader allows us to be in the room where it happens. Thank you for that Hamilton reference, Matt. Being in the room where it happens for sure. So that's it. Anyone have any comments or thoughts? Love to hear it. Otherwise, thank you for being with us, and you may go about your day. A quick hit of information.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pam.
Thanks, Alana.
Thank you. Sorry I was late.
All good.
Thank you.